Welcome to the third episode of the
Let's Go podcast. The Let's Go podcast. Shout out to I think everyone's idol, especially my idol. I remember back in the day, like 2 weeks ago, starting when I was like 5 years old through my whole life, the radio was my idol, John Sterling especially, and we will definitely miss him on the radio. So I have to give him a little shout out there. We want to start by giving, of course, our league sponsor, Evo Care Group, a big thank you. The whole league, this whole league would not be possible without him and without the company. And thank you so much. And let's get started.
All right, so we're waiting in the wings is the famous magician and mentalist Shlomo Levinger, who took a lot of time out of his busy schedule. I saw on Instagram he's in North Carolina today, Orlando tomorrow. But besides for being an internationally renowned magician, he's a member of MOBAT, which we'll talk about shortly.
So I would say primarily he is the captain who is coming off of a big win as he joins us now. Whoa, look who's here. Shlomo, welcome.
Hey, what up? How we doing?
Shlomo, welcome to the podcast. I'm feeling a little starstruck right now, I have to admit.
Same here.
So we were just telling the audience that that your main profession is pitching for the MOBAT team in the HSL, and secondarily you're a magician and mentalist to the stars.
Yeah, well, first of all, obviously the pitching is my number one priority after we dominated Avi's team. So I just have to put that out there.
Yeah, we want to get right into that. You know, I used to play for Avi's team. This year, not on the team anymore, but you faced some really powerful hitters, and it sounds like you shut them down. And it sounds like more importantly than that, you out-dueled Avi Edelman.
Yeah, they looked a little salty after the game, and they had to go play another one. Second game, they weren't facing me, so just, they figured out a way to pull out a victory, but game one did not bode well for Avi Edelman's squad.
Indeed. And in fact, I heard they scored like 13 runs or something in the second game. So obviously you had some magic when facing their lineup.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, that was my second time ever pitching. So clearly, I don't know. I have a lot to figure out. I got a lot to figure out.
It's funny, Shlomo. I was gonna say because your first time you also pitched pretty well against Smash Bros. I think what you guys win, was it 9-7 or 9-6?
No, like 11-4, 11-4.
11-4. There you go. So 4 runs. That's, for someone who hasn't pitched before, that's pretty impressive. I will defend my team. You know, sometimes when you have such talented hitters up and down the lineup, and then you're facing a pitcher like Shlomo, who's just throwing the ball, arcing it in there, it's sometimes a little bit of a struggle for such talented hitters like we have to get hits off him. But he did hold us to one run, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah, no, I do have to give credit to my field. They played a very, very clean game. They made pretty much every play they needed to make outside of like one or two, like little things. But otherwise, they played an insanely clean game. And then we just had a big 2-run homer for my bro, and that was the game. That was it.
Shout out Yossi Levinger.
A towering shot. A
towering drive over Ari Moskvik, who was the hero of the next game after we moved on to the Blue Wahoos. But he had a tremendous shot, and I saw in the corner of my eye.
Yeah.
No, I saw in the corner of my eye, which I didn't want to acknowledge in the moment. I saw Shlomo looking at Yossi and giving him the too little sign. Like, I got under my skin a little bit, but I kept my composure in the moment, and I guess I did a good job because I didn't give another run. But it definitely got you. The Levingers have a way of just doing just enough to get under your skin. And I feel like it's a good tactic to win games.
That's definitely for sure. And then when we have a full squad, it's we're definitely a contender. So
yeah, Dave, I was telling Shlomo, I said it's absolutely ridiculous that you guys is only your second win. When you bring a full team like you bring that, like, forget beating us, I think they could easily compete with the Bombers and King Ventures Diamonds. You know, it just adds another really legit team to like the Titans.
Yeah, I mean, we even without a full squad, we lost to the Bombers in extra innings. So
with 8 guys.
Yeah, with 8 guys. So we
never talked about that. We never talked about the.
That was a controversial moment. I'm not going to say.
What happened in that? What was controversial? We love controversy on the
I'm not going to
podcast.
say too much. I'm not going to say too much, but all I'll say is that if you don't have to do anything in the sport of softball, you don't have to be nice. You have to play to win. But if you are nice and if you do things the right way, which you should be doing, when it comes down to it, when it comes down to extra innings, you shouldn't stop being nice anymore. Which is it's a very nice way of putting it. But long story short, we had 8 guys, so we asked them to just put up a catcher for us so we can actually have a field. And they could say no, by the way. Like they could have said no, and that would be fine, and we'll put up a catcher. That's cool. Like I get that you want to win. But you know what? If you want to have a good game, then they were nice enough to put up a catcher. And it got to the bottom of it got to the top of the 8th inning, and they said no more catcher. So it was a little bit weird because I don't know. Just think about that. It's like you're gonna just like that's I don't know. There's no that enough said. Like that's you can figure that out on your own.
So what happened once you got to extras? You didn't have a catcher, and then you had 7 in the field.
Yeah. So we ended up having 7 in the field. Yeah, and then
So that's a pitcher. And how do you do that? You do a pitcher, and then
we
2
did
in the infield, 3 in the outfield.
2 in the infield, 3 in the outfield. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of real estate to work with if you're a hitter.
Oh, sorry, three in the infield, 3 in the outfield. So you have a third
No,
baseman.
because they had 8. They had 8 guys. Yes, they had a catcher, 3 and 3.
Yeah, so we had a third baseman, a shortstop, a first baseman. Yeah.
And against a team like the Bombers, those hitting, you're bound to give up runs. And the Bombers, what were they down by 2? I think they were down by 2. I'm pretty sure going into that inning. Or down by 1, maybe. How was it?
It was tie. It was tie game. It was tie game. They tied it up in the bottom of the 7th. They hit a 2-run homer, and then in extras, just kind of like it was just too much to bear with such a small with the small field. So.
Yeah.
Shout out! I think if I'm not mistaken, Ruben Russick was on the mound for that game. If I'm not.
Yeah, he
I'm
pitched
mistaken.
decently
Ruben.
well.
Love that.
How do you bring down more? How do you get more of your team to come down week to week?
So I think I don't know, like to start the season, we had a squad, and like, since we obviously have a sponsor, and shout out to Mobat. By the way,
Shlomo, give them a plug. Tell everyone about Mobat.
Side note, I went down there to their HQ, to their offices in where are they? In Manchester, New Jersey, near Lakewood. And I went down there and I basically went to go film some content with them, some magic content. And that stuff's going to be coming out. There's going to be like 1 clip a week coming out on my stories for the next, like, I don't know, I think after Pesach for like about 6 weeks, we're going to be putting out tricks with the people over there. So should be some fun stuff coming out. I'll send it to you, Avi. You can post it on the chat and stuff.
Yeah, that would be great. So bad, Shlomo Levinger collab.
Yeah.
Since it's sponsored, do you think guys are more reluctant to come down? They don't.
No, so I think what happened was that, we got a squad, and then it happens to be most of the guys I didn't know. Like my brother recruited people, my younger brother, and they just they didn't feel like in the beginning of the season they didn't feel like an authorized to show up. Like they committed and they thought it would be a good idea, and then it came time for the season and they're like, actually I'm not down. So we had to scramble and like come up with a new team, basically not a full new team, like a half a team. And we ended up recruiting a couple really, really good guys. Got Shlomo Dax on board, so he's a good piece for us right now. He commands our outfield, and he's definitely like a good piece in the front of the lineup. He's a professional hitter, as I say. He's a professional hitter. He's not gonna.
Devore. So you brought down Devore also. He had a couple.
Yeah, he's not gonna hit. Like Shlomo Dax is not gonna hit like he's not gonna hit a moonshot, but he'll hit a single double. He'll get on base. So and he's a great outfielder. So yeah, and then we brought Devore. He was a sub, but he'll play hopefully going forward. I got Nathan. I don't know his last name, but We got Natan. He played shortstop for us for a few games, and then we moved him last week to the outfield. Who else do we have? Oh, we got Bohm. This kid Bohm.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Also, yeah, good player, good hitter. He was like 2 for 3 last week. Play second
So
base.
I have a question for you. What's up with the fact that T-Bomb, the legend, who's a phenomenal player, all of a sudden disappears?
All-star shortstop.
Disappears for 3 weeks, and all of a sudden makes a return.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Disappears for time, and then all of a sudden makes a return against us. Like, what's up with that? Like, how'd that work out?
So first of all, against the Bombers, he was sick. He had fever. He's throwing up. I don't want to get too graphic. And then I think the week before we played you guys, I think he was just away. So it just happened to work out. But he's a weekly piece. He's a commit. It happens to be my team has like a lot of really fun pieces. Like we're very like diverse in who like the personalities on the squad. I think like you have like me and my 2 brothers. We're just obviously getting under people's skin a little bit. We have some guys that are just super athletes like Shlomo Farkas. Like honestly, I recruited him to my team. I played basketball with him one week and like one Monday night, and I was like, this dude looks like he plays softball. So I went over to him. I'm like, do you play softball? He's like, I do. And then the rest is history. So he's on the squad. He's a really good player. He had
a great snap robbing me of my first at bat. On the first base line. Great play to stop.
Yeah. So Shlomo Farkas is a good piece, and then we got some like T-Bound, like super athlete, like gonna make highlight reel plays in the field. Good hitter. And then you got our catcher Bucks, who's just gonna frame pitches that are up here, and he'll bring them down. So he's a clown. Like the dude's a clown.
And he's hilarious, right?
Yeah, he's just a funny dude. So it's just like a good. We have like a good, good personalities, and it's a fun time. It's a fun time at 8 a.m. on a Sunday morning.
Shlomo, so how are you finding the HSL so far?
I think the HSL is good. I think it's a lot more structured than it was previously. I think Avi really did a good job of like being there for the people. Like we had an issue like 2 weeks ago. Like we had an umpire who was just like on a complete power trip, and like I'm not just gonna say this. Like I understand that the ump has like a job to do. Like I totally get that, and like. Like sometimes am I gonna like jaw at him? Yeah, a little bit, and like back and forth, whatever. But like I respect them. I respect the fact that like they're doing their job, and some of them are pretty good. The guy we had last week, these guys are classic. I recognize all their faces, but like some of them are good, some of them are not. But even the ones that are not, they're consistently not. So it's like it's fine. But like this past week we had a pretty good umpire. But like I think in general, like this dude, like 2 weeks ago we had this dude, and he was just like. He was like no nonsense, like completely like. First of all, he was confident that he knew the rules, and they were just completely wrong. Like I show up there, like he's like, okay, measure out the bases. I'm like, bro, that's not my job. Like, why am I measuring out the bases? all I have to do is bring the bases. Like I'm not measuring the bases. That's your job. Like why else are you here? And then like the first thing he says to me is like, make sure you have my money. Like, bro. No.
I got a call from Dom. Dom's like, why am I hearing that the umpire is demanding money before the game even starts? Get over there right now. I'm like, I'm on my way now, no problem.
So like, first of all that, and then also like, he just like we're gonna chirp a little bit, we're gonna chirp back and forth, and like we're gonna have a good we're gonna have a good time. Like I'll be honest, we're that team. We're that team that people are like, they're so annoying. Like we hate playing them. They're so annoying to play against. But at the end of the day, like that's what we bring to the table. And there's got to be that team. There's always got to be a team like that. So, whatever. We're gonna play our game. But at the end of the day, this dude was just not having it, and he was just like. It was a bad situation, so I call Avi, and he's just like, all right, I'm coming. And then he showed up, and he put him in his place, and like the rest of the game was fine. So like stuff like that, I think in the past, like stuff like that would never have happened. I think like it's definitely there's definitely where to grow. Obviously, it's still in the infantile stage of.
We're definitely gonna ask that, Shlomo. That's a question that so far we're 2 for 2 on. We love asking our guests. There's nothing more we love asking our guests on how we could improve the product.
eventually he'll make enough money to pay for Wi-Fi, and
Yeah.
it'll be good.
We love asking. You said there's room for growth. What are the areas for growth with the HSL?
I think just I think right now, everything's being run on like chats and like WhatsApp chats, and there's 17 WhatsApp chats, and I can't follow along because I don't know which chat to look at, and they're all like grouped together. Like I click on the thing, and there's like 7 chats that pop up.
We call it a
Um,
community.
Oh, it looks
I'll
like
keep I'll keep talking until he comes back, but oh, he's back.
I'm back. I'm here.
David Gottlieb is back with 2 screens. Look at this.
I mean, there's my name under your
Oh,
Um,
really?
and he's gone. And he's gone. No, but the point is that like, I think that just down the road, I think as the league grows, I think it's
What would you
gonna.
recommend instead of the chats, Shlomo? Instead of the WhatsApp?
I don't know. I think there's a way to make a site with updates, and you can check your team. Every team has a page, and you can see where you're playing and who you're playing against, and the lineup and the roster. And obviously, it has to be a little bit more. The teams themselves. Like even for me, like I don't know what my full roster is, until like Friday. But I think there should be a way that captains can upload their roster, and I think that you can see where you're playing, you can see the field, you can see the location. If there's a change, the change will be updated, like stuff like that, where it's just a little bit of more accessible, a little easier.
One central location where everyone could go check.
Yeah, 100%. Like just a website like that. You
Good
can
idea. Yeah.
that you can know. Okay, I don't even have to like look at my phone. I can just on game day that morning look at the website and see where I'm playing and drive there. Like I don't have to worry about like changes and this and looking at the chat and then seeing the wrong field because it was like stuff like that. So I don't know. That to me is one thing that I think just stood out. But otherwise, yeah, I think the jerseys are like doing that every single season. Having jerseys made. Like I remember last year, like I showed up to the league and like half the teams had jerseys and half of them didn't because they weren't printing jerseys anymore. But the teams that have been playing for 5 years had from like 5 years ago. So like it's just like the type of thing. And then if you wanted to make jerseys, you got to do it yourself. Like here, I think it's good because it has that like legitimacy and like everything that should be done is being done. Like Avi delivered the balls to me. By the way, is he not on the screen? Like, do you see him, Dave? Or
I
no?
see Avi. I see Avi.
You see him? I
I'm
don't
here,
see him.
Shlomo. I'm here.
I don't
Yeah.
see
You
you,
don't see
Avi.
Oh,
Hold on,
okay.
let me see if I can see you now. I can't see you, Avi, but it's like I see that he's here, but it's black. But basically, yeah, no, I
See
think
with the
that
balls.
like, yeah, no, I think like like before the season, like he just delivered everything. He's like, here's your bases, here's your softballs, chuck it in your car, and then I don't have to worry about it. Like every week, like I have everything I need. So it's like it's good. Like everything's structured. He thought about it. It's very thought through. Obviously, Avi's the softball king of the world. So
I am.
Well,
I am.
Yeah.
It wasn't last Sunday, Shlomo.
what happened?
I said he wasn't the softball king of the world last Sunday.
No, that's true. Like obviously, I had to put him in his place a little bit, but
He need a little knocking down.
yeah, you needed a little
Shlomo,
you needed a little check. You needed a little check.
Shlomo, so let's get into you a little bit. Where are you from originally?
So I grew up in Queens, Kew Gardens, and I live in Far Rockaway now. And
You live in Rockaway.
yeah, I played Little League throughout, the famous Queens Little League. Best best Jewish Little League in probably the world. If you think about it, where is there a more legitimate?
Shlomo, you got to be careful here. You got to be careful who you're talking to. I don't know. I don't know if you're aware. We got the Dave. You want to tell Shlomo what's going on here? He's digging himself a little bit of his own little hole here.
No, I know, Avi. I know that you're starting. I know you're starting a league, but I'm talking about like from the from growing up from the
Who
OG.
established.
for?
It's established.
Kew Garden Synagogue? What team were you on?
Yeah, I played for the legendary. Like I compare KGS to like the Yankees. It's like like it's a very like pristine organization. It's the same colors. They have a champion every year. There's always one team that's really good. So it's like it's that like if you're signing up for it, like when back in the day. Now obviously I don't even know if it still exists, but back in the day, like when you would sign up for it, you'd be like, okay, like I know that we're gonna be competitive. I know we're gonna be a good team. There were other shuls that you knew were automatically going to be bad year to year. So I remember there were people that used to come over from Kew Garden Hills, from AY, YIQV, Youngstown Hillcrest. Like I remember there were dudes who used to come from there to play for KGS because they're like, nah, I can't be losing every single game to KGS. I got to be on the winning team. So that was the vibe that we had back then. Um, I'll be honest, like I was never good enough to make the A squad, but because they used to stack teams, which was I didn't like it at the time, but I get why they did it now. They used to stack the teams where they would have like most of the best players like on one team. That was like KGS A, and then KGS B was like good players, but like not the worst players. And then KGS C was always like the rest of the people.
So Shlomo, I've seen a lot of your videos on YouTube. You're clearly a Yankees fan. I'm from Queens also. What's a nice Jewish boy from Queens doing rooting for the Yankees?
It's a good question, honestly. My father's a Met fan, so that makes your question even better.
Are you the oldest?
No, I'm not. So I have an older brother who's been in the league. He's been in HSL in previous years.
Yeah, I tried working on him. I tried getting him to be. He's the only Levinger brother not in the league. I don't know.
He works too hard. He works too hard. He doesn't. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah.
He's busy. He's busy Sunday mornings working. So no, but yeah, no. So my older brother became a Yankee fan from elementary school, probably from his friends, and then I just went that direction instead of going my father's direction, I guess. I think also like I don't think my father like pushed like if like as a Yankee fan like when I have a son like I'm gonna push my Yankee fandom onto him obviously because I'm very passionate about it and it's something that like whatever. My father's a really big Met fan, but he never like I guess when I was little he never like really like pushed the Mets onto us. Like it was just sports overall. It wasn't like the Mets. Like he wasn't like always like talking about the Mets. He was doing other things. So like I think that it just gave me an opportunity to like pick whatever team I wanted to. And my brother at the time was obviously talking about the Yankees way more than my dad was talking about the Mets. So it's kind of just like that direction. But yeah, that's how I'm a Yankee fan, and it's funny because I've been like you said, like I've been doing a lot of magic with some athletes, and
which we're gonna go with Shlomo. Don't think you're gonna get away with us not bringing up. By the way,
no, it's cool, but
for last.
It's cool, but like I've been in the Astros locker room, and it's like a little weird. It's like, like.
Astros
By the
cheating
way,
scandal, Yankee fan, what's happening?
I did tell the Astros. I said, if you need someone to tell you the signs of what pitch is coming, like I could tell you, like I can just tell you what the pitcher's thinking, and then I'll,
You said that to somebody on the Astros?
I did say it to them, but like I didn't say it in a way where like it was like I was trying to like throw it back to the trash can banging. I kind of just said it like I'll say it. I would have said that to any team. I was like, by the way, like if you guys need my help,
it had a lot more meaning to the Astros.
Yeah, I was like, if you guys need my help out there, I can sit in the dugout and and tell you.
So can you tell our audience a little bit about your involvement with Magic, Mentalization, and the MLB?
Mentalization. That's a good one. I've never heard that.
Oh yeah, is that a new one?
Mentalization. I like that term. That's
he
good.
likes the term.
I like the term.
It's a psychology term. I'm a psychologist.
Yeah, there you go. Boom. So you look like it by where you're sitting. You look like you're sitting in a therapist's office with that chair.
I'm in my office.
I see. I can tell. Look at that. Avi, I can't even see you, so I have no idea where you're at.
I'm sitting in a bedroom in my sister-in-law's house in Hollywood, Florida, right now.
Oh, you're in Florida. Very nice.
The best part of working a HSL full time is I'm now a work from home dad. So I can do wherever I want, whenever I want.
We're all over the place. Listen, like you're in Queens. Where are you right now?
Right now I'm in Manhattan. My office in Midtown.
Oh, bougie. I like that. That's good. So you're in Manhattan right now. Avi, you're in Hollywood, Florida. I'm sitting here in North Carolina. So we're all over the place. This is good. I'm in Pinehurst, North Carolina. You know Pinehurst, like, where they have the U.S. Open? That's where I'm at.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. That's where I'm
Is
at.
that you're doing an event tonight?
Yeah, I have an event tonight. Not at Pinehurst. There's another golf club nearby called the Dormy Club. So they're having a member event tonight that I will be performing at.
Really cool.
So tell our audience about your involvement with magic and mentalization.
Yeah. So professionally, that's what I do. I'm a magician and a mentalist, and I mentalize people. No, and it's just a fun time. I get to travel all across the country, performing at various events. And I got into it in ninth grade. I was about 14. Started doing it just watching some YouTube videos, and then kind of just kept growing, kept doing it, kept it up as a hobby, and then probably towards the end of high school, started doing some small shows, and then just from there, it just kind of grew. I went to Israel for 2 years, and then when I came back, it kind of blew up. I kept it going even when I was in Israel. Like I would come back and do gigs over Pesach in the summer, etc. And then when I came back to America after third year, it was like, I don't know, like I guess there aren't that many from people that do what I do. So my phone, started ringing a lot, and I was getting bookings. And at the time, I was in yeshiva in Waterbury, and I would drive back probably like twice a week. I'd drive back to New York for different events. I also was in college at the time. I started like school online, and I shut that down really quickly because
I was going to say, what are you doing?
It
What are you
wasn't.
doing in college?
I started going to school for like marketing and like that type of thing. I do enjoy that. I obviously I have to market myself, so you got to know a little bit. But I was like, no, I can't do. I have to pick one, and I was just like, I'm obviously gonna pick the thing that's already doing pretty good. And
So Shlomo, you're being modest. You're making it sound like you're just some run of the mill magician, but you've been in a great number of MLB clubhouses. That's not something most people can say.
that's true. I definitely don't take that for granted. I think that it's been a pretty cool experience so far. I think it's very much far from over. I think there's a lot more room to grow, especially even in that area. But yeah, I've been lucky enough to perform for, at this point, I don't know, maybe over between 30 and 40 professional athletes, between different situations.
I think a lot more than that. I was just watching.
Actually, no, you're right because I was just thinking about individual like scenarios, but yeah, I mean it's got to be a couple hundred at this point because you got the whole
teams.
Dodgers team, you got the whole Astros team. There's also the National Predators. Yeah, so yeah, I've gotten to perform for a lot of different people. A lot of it, some of it's not even like like out there because it just wasn't a situation where it was like the type of thing where I could film, but there's some really cool projects that I've been lucky enough to work on. It really started with Trout because I was very much always into posting my content on social media. And there was one opportunity where I just, I happens to be, it's just so random, but like, you never know what's going to happen in your life. Like I DM'd a certain influencer and I said, hey, like, because I saw they're not from New York, but I saw they were in New York. So I said, hey, I think they posted something along the lines of like there's like something along the lines of like, what do you guys think I should do today? Like, I don't remember exactly. And I basically just responded. I didn't even think about it. I was just like, oh, hey, let me just respond to this. I said like, hey, like I'm a magician. Let's hang out. Like, we'll go out. We'll just, mess with people in the street. And they were like, dude, that sounds awesome. So then I went out with this dude, performed for some random people. We got some really funny videos. And then he has a big sports following. So I'm not saying who this is on purpose, just because, whatever.
You're not what? Can you repeat that?
I'm not saying the name of this influencer on purpose. If anybody was wondering who I'm talking about.
Flatbush Girl?
No, not Jewish. Like not Jewish. The reason I'm not saying their name is just because it's irrelevant to the story, sort of. But like also, like it doesn't matter, and I just rather not say it. But it's nobody. Like I'm making it sound like super sus right now. It's someone in the sports world who he's a sports comedian. I'll just put that out. He's a sports comedian. he's been involved in stuff like I guess with other people that I'm making okay. This is getting this is making it
So
sound so bad.
we'll end it like this. I
It's Bob
remember.
Menery. If you know who
I
Bob
remember.
Menery is, look him up. I'll just say who it is. I'd rather like I don't. That's the irrelevant part of the story, so I just like to skip to the good parts. But basically, we hung out for like an hour or two, and we got some good content. And then he has a big following, so they posted. He posted a bunch of videos of me like doing these tricks, and I got a lot of athletes following me from that. And then from there, Trout followed me. So then I DM'd him and I said, "Hey, I'm a huge fan. Thanks for the follow. I really appreciate it." And then we
Wait. Can you walk me through the moment you look at your phone and you see Mike Trout followed you?
It's kind of funny because I didn't even notice, which is crazy. because there were so like at that like in one day there was just so many people following me from those posts that I just didn't even like. You can't keep track. So I actually had a friend of mine DM me and he's like, "Yo, do you realize Mike Trout follows you?" I was like, "What?" So then I looked and I saw it, and then I DM'd him. But basically, yeah. Long story short, we ended up having a whole conversation. I went out to California to go hang out with him for a little bit, and, do some stuff for him after the game.
Check out that video. Check out that video. On
Yeah,
YouTube.
it's on
really
YouTube.
cool.
Everything, pretty much most of the things I'm going to talk about are on YouTube, so you can.
The Mike Trout video. The Mike Trout video is very much underappreciated. It is an absolute bomb of video. It's really awesome. Like
yeah,
no,
so
that
it's funny
like
because
if you're a baseball fan, like it's such a surreal moment, like for anybody. But to see, Shlomo, see you going there is like really cool to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it was just it's definitely an underrated video. If anybody hasn't checked it out, go check it out. What are we up to now? 500 views? What are we up to, Avi?
We're almost at 200. We're almost 200 episodes in.
That's pretty impressive.
I think. Listen, at the rate of how we're growing the HSL, I think we could be at 50,000 in the next 3 months. What do you think,
Absolutely.
Dave? You think that's accurate?
Well, if we have Shlomo on every week,
By the way, like 200 views for something that I would never think to click on is absolutely I
was pretty surprised also. This is the third one we're doing. I was pretty surprised to see we got 200 views.
These things take time to grow. That means either I can't. It doesn't mean 200 people watched it. It just means 200 people were interested enough to click on it, which is good.
So I was watching your video with the Dodgers this morning. I watched you should know there was one Saturday night I was babysitting my nephews. We spent like 5 hours on Winter Monthly Shabbos watching your videos. You probably don't even know this. I actually messaged you, and there was some on Instagram, and they were so excited. You didn't message me back till the next morning, but I messaged you, "Hey, I'm with my nephews. Can you teach us how you did this trick?" And you left me a voice note the next day. "Sorry, man. Glad you enjoyed the videos, but I can't share any of my tricks." But my nephews were so excited that you replied.
Oh, good. I try to reply to everybody. So, I think what's funny. I think that people that don't kind of like lose out or they miss out on I consider it opportunities. To talk to people and like see what they think about the content and it makes me feel good. That's for sure. I think that people they just don't care or they don't look at it or I don't know. They think it's like they think it's like small to reply, but like at the end of the day, like that's how you grow a brand. You grow a brand by being there for the people. Like Avi's doing it. Customer service is number one.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Jinx, you took it right out of my mouth.
Absolutely.
Dave, what were you saying about the Dodger video?
I think
Let's get into the Dodger video a little bit here.
Go ahead, Avi. What were you saying?
No, I was going to say, you're bringing up the Dodger video. Let's get into it. You're about to...
So I wanted to ask you first, Shlomo. I think something amazing for fans of baseball, like myself, who've been watching it since I was a little kid, seeing you in these sort of sanctified spaces, these holy spaces that are like the Beis HaMikdash. You're in a clubhouse. Sorry, Lahavdil Havdei Havdalos. I don't want to insult anybody, but really, there's like a sense of awe. Watching you walk into the Dodgers. Was that their spring training facility or their?
Yeah.
mean, these are hallowed. What do they say? It's hallowed ground, right?
Yeah.
Stadium, hallowed ground. What's it like being in these places? Maybe you're used to it by now. Speaking to these players. It's
pretty sick, honestly. Like it's pretty cool because like I'm in the same boat as you. Like I I look at it the same way. Like I think it's just such a cool place to be, and yeah, like not many people have an opportunity to just walk in those doors, but um, it's kind of weird. Like it's kind of weird. Like it's a little bit of like imposter syndrome. Like where like I'm standing there, and David, you know what imposter syndrome is. But for anybody who doesn't know what imposter syndrome is, it means like when it's like sort of like an out of body experience. Like you feel like you're somebody else. Like you don't feel like you don't feel like you deserve to be where you're at because like let's say for me like I'm a magician and I'm there to perform for them, but like for me personally, like I'm just me, like I'm not anything special or anything different. So it's kind of like you feel like it's a little bit of like a detachment. But that's the best way I know how to explain imposter syndrome. But basically, yeah, like when I'm standing there, it's like I'm just me. So it's like this is like I'm like, whoa, this is sick. Like I understand like how rare it is and like how cool of an opportunity it is. But at the same time, I have to be really professional because that's why I'm there. So it's a very much like a inside yell. It's like me like freaking out, but like inside, not expressing it obviously, because I'm there, just as professionally as they are in that situation. So, they get on the field every single day to entertain, the people that are coming to see the game. In this situation, it's just the opposite. Like the same way that they take the game seriously, I have to take the show seriously. I have to be there for them. Like I have to be the one because their roles are really reversed here. Like they're there to enjoy themselves and get away from the daily activities of the game, and I have to be the one to facilitate that. So it's definitely a task and a challenge at times. But I just trust my material. I trust myself that um, just to get up there and just kind of relax and go with the flow. And so far, it's turned out pretty good. Yeah, it's,
Dave Roberts seems like a great guy.
he's a cool guy. He's a cool guy. He's a really cool guy.
Who did
He
you enjoy meeting at that Dodgers visit?
um I think there was a lot like you could really see the first of all, I'll say this. Everybody was nice. There was no one that wasn't nice. I think that I think that first of all, these dudes are insanely athletic, like insanely built athletes. These guys, exactly what you would expect them to be, like 6'4", 6'5", perfectly like jacked. Like these dudes, like Shohei Ohtani walking around the hallways, he looks like a robot. Like I'm not kidding. Like he looks like a man-made being. Like it's crazy. Like it's crazy. Like like these pitchers like Tyler Glass now. I don't actually know how tall he is. Maybe 6'8". Like dude's big. Dude's massive. Like um, you
There's a
know
couple moments in the video where there's one moment where you hand the envelope and you're like, "Whoa, you're tall," and then there's another video they call it salt and pepper because one guy's black
yeah.
and they kind of stand next to you and you're like, "Geez, oh my god, you guys are
Yeah,
big."
like they're like Freddie Freeman. It was Jason Hayward and Freddie Freeman, and they're both massive. Like they're both really tall, and like
Oh, that was
they're
Jason Hayward. Okay.
Oh, good.
it was Jason Hayward and Freddie Freeman, and they're massive. So it was pretty cool, and like I'll tell you, just like going back to what I was saying before, I think the nicest. Otani was insanely nice. I was like you see in the video, like he came over to me, and he said, "Hey, like, did you get my bet that I placed with you last week?" And I told him, no, and no, and that's not what he said. He came over to me. He was like super. He was like super intrigued. He was super intrigued by what was going on there, and he was asking me a bunch of questions, which was fun. And like he was like really down for it. He was super nice. Mookie Betts, like clearly you've seen the video, his reactions, like he loved it. Um, I'm trying to think of guys that were like specifically like that stood out to me. Yeah, like after we talked to a bunch of people after. Like I spoke to first of all, for sure Walker Bueller because he's the one who brought me there in the first place. I know Walker from a charity golf event that I did for his foundation that year, so that's how that happened in the first place. But basically, yeah. So Walker Bueller, Bobby Miller, who I knew from the tournament as well. After the show, I was talking to James Outman a little bit. Really sweet guy, nice guy. Um, James Paxton. I don't know if people realize that he's on the Dodgers, but he is. I actually
Yeah,
went
when
over
did
to him
that
because I'm
happen?
in the off season, but I went over to him because I'm obviously like I'm a Yankee fan, and I said, hey, like, just I remember, I'm a Yankee fan. I remember when you were on the team, and like I was just asking him, like I was just asking him about like his experience with the Yankees and like, what that was like compared to the Dodgers, and I'm like, because obviously the teams are run very differently. The Dodgers are a little bit more like, like Dave Roberts is like one of the boys, and it's a little bit more like chilled atmosphere, but the Yankees are a little bit more buttoned up. So I did ask him about that, and he said that it is true. Like like the vibe around New York is more serious than it is in LA. But he said every team does things differently, and like there's no right or wrong way to do it. He said, you know, different teams like a different type of team wins every year, so it's just like it's not right or wrong. It's just what what goes on there. So
Shlomo,
yeah,
I appreciate you. I appreciate you making that. I appreciate you making that joke. Dave and I were talking before the podcast, and Dave was asking me. He's like, "Should we ask Shlomo about Otani and the translators? Should we not ask him?"
why
Like Jordan,
not?
how we should bring it. That's
Where
what
do you
I
think the
said.
money?
I said, "Why?"
Where do you think the money went? Where do you think it went? Like,
That's what I
you think it
said.
was a
So why
coincidence?
not?
You think it was a coincidence that I was there like a few days before this whole thing happened?
Yeah,
No, that's not a
isn't
coincidence.
isn't the rumor that you were the last one to get Otani's translator on camera before he got put behind bars? Wasn't that the?
I
Isn't
mean,
that the?
it's very possible. Honestly, it's very possible. Yeah, I have some behind the scenes footage. I gotta look through the footage. There's tons of footage. I gotta look through to see if there's anything sketchy. I haven't done it yet, but
Shlomo, let me ask you a quick question. We have to wrap up soon.
yeah,
The
absolutely.
Otani video was one of the was like one of the all your videos definitely exploded a little bit, but the Otani video was way beyond. Like when you see that happening, like in the moment, like I'm sure you're aware of it in the moment. Like,
Yeah,
is that
absolutely.
like a feeling of like, oh my gosh, like this is actually happening?
Um, Yeah, it's funny. Like, there's two moments of realization. One is when I'm actually filming the video. Like when he came over to me and I did the trick, and like, and the re- and I got that reaction out of him. Like, I knew that second. Like that second, I looked at my brother. I didn't say anything, but like I looked at him and he looked at me, and we're both like, "This is gold." Like this is like in the moment, instantly. I knew I had a viral piece of content. So I was super happy about that. And then when I posted it, so actually it's funny. I posted the video, the actual YouTube video at like, I don't know, 7 p.m. or whatever on a Tuesday or whatever. Um, and then I was planning on posting the social media clips the next day because I wanted to give, the YouTube video some space for people to watch it without seeing, like the clips from the video. Um, because sometimes if you put out the clips, then people just won't watch the actual video because they'll think they saw everything already, which they didn't. But that's just how people think.
And because
So
everyone is super ADD and ADHD today, they
yeah,
don't need to
yeah. But
watch
like
your video when you
if
can
the
see it.
only place to access the content is on YouTube, then they'll go click on the
Right,
video. So,
of course.
um, so so that was the plan. That was the plan. And then I quickly realized I'm like, why can't someone just what's stopping someone from just ripping my video and putting it on Twitter and it blows up? So I'd rather it blow up from my page than from somebody else's page. So even though that's not like really like an ethical thing to do, but people don't care. So I decided to quickly post it on Twitter, and I said I'm just gonna post this on Twitter, and I posted it on Twitter, and like 10 minutes after I posted it, it was starting to like really pick up traction. And then within the first like half hour, max an hour, I got DMs from Bleacher Report, ESPN, who else? I'm trying to think. There were some others like TSN.
Well, they have to
Um,
ask you permission to post it. Is that what happens? Is that what happens?
Yeah, so they have to ask me permission to post it, which I obviously gave them. I said they can post it if they tagged me and if they gave me credit because of my video.
Right.
And they did, and they posted it all over the place. I posted it as well. Even my video did like my Twitter video did like over 1 million. There's a lot of their videos did over 1 million. Some of their videos, like on TikTok, it did like 500K. I think so. Like overall, even on YouTube Reels, it did like 300K. So like, I think overall, I think across all platforms, last time I counted, I think it was close to 10 million views, like over across all the videos, all the platforms. It was, yeah.
I know
Because
this is a
yeah, even though
classic.
even the YouTube, even my 30-minute YouTube video has over 200K views right now, which is
That's
crazy.
crazy. I know this
Yeah.
is a classic question, Shlomo, but like when stuff like this happen, right? Is it like an instinct to automatically go back to like when you were in high school and you always wanted to do this, and like I'm sure were always people telling you like, dude, like you're not making it big. You're from Jew. You're like, what do you think you're doing? Like you're gonna have a couple of shows in the summer, and then now you're here seeing videos going viral with millions of views. Like, is that like an automatic instinctive reaction you have? Like, it's very hard not to, no, because I'm sure, I mean, you tell me, but I'm sure,
Yeah.
as a high school kid, a 15, 16-year-old, like, you were getting a ton of those type of comments. Maybe not even from friends, maybe from family, from whoever. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to be completely honest. Like, I always was one to like just do my thing. Like, I try to like block out that stuff. So, I'm sure people behind my back were talking. I'm sure even now.
right.
But I don't know. I just felt like it was something that I enjoyed, and I really could care less. Like at the time, even like I could care less of like what other people thought. Um, I have people that told me like, oh, like I wish I had that, I was able to do that when I was your age because I would actually be doing something I enjoy now instead of doing something, that I don't. So, I think it was just a big bracha that I was able to just like, I don't know, I just kind of like was, focused on what I was doing and I didn't really care what other people thought. Um, you
It's
know,
funny it's so much funny you're saying that because you latched on to that a good 15 years before me because now I'm 20, 26, 27 years old. I'm finally starting to go after what I'm super passionate about. So definitely,
exactly.
I'm definitely on the same page with you on that. Go
And
after your
Mirk
dreams
Hashem,
and make it work.
you'll be successful as well. I have no doubt. I think you guys. I think Avi, you're a go getter, so I think you'll. As much as I know, I will never like. As much as you push Avi away, he just keeps pushing back. So it's.
That's what they all say. They all
Um,
say. I think David Taub said he put on his status when I was harassing him to like put the flyer on. He was like, "Listen, the guy is the most annoying guy in the world, but he gets stuff done, and I like people who get stuff done." So I'll put it on the status right now. I think you
Yeah,
got
even
that pretty well.
Avi, even when you're like when you're fundraising and you're raising money, like you just don't stop. Like, and I'm like, okay, I'm only giving you money, so you shut up and go away. Like that's it.
It's funny when I put it on my
Nice.
status. When I put it on my status last year, I had like 5 people give me right away just because just to avoid me like messaging them. Like a few people, Yitzi Eisenberger, I remember,
That's a good
Yehuda
idea.
Gold, a few different people.
That's actually a really good idea. I might have to adapt that.
I don't know if I'm
All right,
allowed to
well,
plug. I don't
Shlomo.
know if I'm allowed to plug that here, but I will leave it for now. But it's starting after Pesach, so get ready,
Oh
guys.
no.
All right, Shlomo. Thanks so much, Shlomo. Thank you so much for coming on. I know you had a busy morning flying to North Carolina, and I saw on Instagram you had a 2 mile walk in the
Oh
Delta
my
Turtle.
God! Don't get me started. Ugh.
You probably need some
The
rest.
Delta. Listen, I'll say this about Delta. Delta is the best airline, like without a doubt. Like of all the airlines, Delta does it the best. They're the most. They're the Verizon of airlines, but um, they
That's two. That's
they
two plugs right there in 1 minute. Sponsor Shlomo Levinger. That's
yeah.
great.
Listen, none of these companies are sponsored, but they should be. They're the rowback of sportswear, you know. Um, but no, but in reality, like Delta is an amazing airline. It's just that when you go to Terminal 4 in JFK and you get on a flight to anywhere, your gate is always the last gate, no matter what. Your gate is no matter where. I don't care what city you're flying to. I don't care where you're going. Your gate is the last gate. You have to pass that little stupid thing that you have to put your credit card and walk in and get food, and there's no one there. You know what I'm talking about? That little food thing. You always pass that. You're
Yeah.
always going down. You're always going down the next escalator. You're going down. You're passing the lounge. You're passing. You're literally walking all the way to the end, no matter what. And you're always wondering why is this walk so long? And every time. Like, I flew 3 times this week. I'm not kidding. 3 times. It was a busy week. Very, very busy week. I flew 3 times this week. Every single time, I did that 2 mile walk all the way down, and they don't even try to cover it up. They're like, there's a big sign, like right when you get to the beginning of the terminal, it tells you, like, if you're going to gate whatever, it's a 15-minute walk. Like, they say 15 minutes, like, and it's not. It's like 25, but they try to. It's rough. It's rough. Good luck
with your show tonight, Shlomo. Thanks again for coming on.
No problem. My pleasure.
Thank you, Shlomo.
Avi, we're gonna have to, when you put this out there, I don't know where this goes, but wherever this goes, you have to what do you call it? Like, you have to like bullet point the different segments of like what we talked about, so people can like see what was talked about, like, and they could skip to whatever part they want to listen to. Like, if people want to just listen to the Dodger thing, they could skip to the Dodger thing. If they want to listen to me rant about Delta Airlines, you can go to Delta Airlines. So it depends on what you want to do, but if you would put out like a time code of what we talked about, I think that would be a good way that people.
I mean, this guy knows social media. Are you? Maybe you could join the HSL as a social media coordinator.
I'll join. I'll join as a consultant.
Well, we just got a valuable tip.
Avi can consult me if he has any questions.
All right.
Thanks,
Shlomo.
My
Thank you.
pleasure.
Appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
All right,
Enjoy.
guys.
Good luck tonight.
Thanks for having me.
See ya.
Bye.